do here is go back, 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 back.
Good evening, everybody. Welcome to tonight's episode of Tune In Live. This is the... Nope, we still got one more Thursday after this. The end of the month. School's starting up here soon. Yay! Streams will be returning back to normal here soon, especially with more streams and more video content coming as well. To anybody who's listening, to anybody who's just now joining in, welcome to the show. As you all know, this is a podcast right here on our YouTube channel, Arrow Entertainment. Be sure to hit that like and subscribe button down below. We are also live streaming to our Twitch channel, twitch.tv/arrow with a name. If you've got to do so, if you're listening to us over there, hit that follow button. Keep up to date with our game streams and our podcast as well. Also, real quick, if you have yet to see it pop up, if you are following us on our YouTube channel, episode 1 of my new pre-recorded podcast, CinemaCast, is now uploaded in our video section under the playlist CinemaCast Podcast. Check that out. I talk about the movie Session 9, which is a movie that came out about 22 years ago. It's a fucked up movie, sort of. Hey, American Frank and American Nightmare Frank, what's going on, buddy? Welcome to the show. What's going on there, buddy? First timer over here in the chat. But yeah, if you guys are into movies, if you are into listening to podcasts talk about movies, check that out. It is up now. It is CinemaCast Episode 1, Session 9. To everybody else, welcome to the show. You guys know what to do. All the links for our social media and everything is right down below in the description section and on our Twitch page as well, in our About section. If you guys want to be on the show, if you want to be part of the podcast, Discord link is down below. Also, click that link, join us on Discord, and you can be in a future episode as well when we go live. Also, we are new to, well, not fairly new, but I'm back on TikTok. I have a new TikTok account, Arrow Entertainment. Be sure to follow me over there as well for updates on when I'm going live and other little video rants and such. So today is it's going to be a tough stream. It's going to be a tough show to do. It's going to be hard because I'm talking about the Maui fires out there in Hawaii. Hearts and prayers go to those families who've lost many loved ones, family and friends out there in Maui. These tragic fires happened just a couple weeks ago, and it's very devastating. And there's even one news report that I'm looking at from Intelligencer on MSN. Why are 1,100 people still missing in Maui? I don't even know how the fires, what even became of the fires. All I know is that, when I first heard about the story, these fires just happen, houses went up in flames, all that kind of stuff. And I'm going to pull up this article here for CBS News. Now, before I read this article, there's a couple of videos I do want to play from TikTok that tickle my fancy a little bit. And it's very, very interesting because there are eyewitness accounts that talk about things going on in Maui that the news media is not covering. And it's very interesting. I'm going to start playing a couple of these. Let me see if this one will play for you guys.
Listen at this, you guys. In Oahu, Hawaii, 19 hours ago, and still raging right now, they are trying to illegally seize Hawaii from the native people. Check out the first video right here, and we'll explain why I just said what I just said. And I'm going to attach 3 videos. And it's about time we see helicopters doing everything they can. And I don't know who they is, but they are organized and they are illegally trying to seize Hawaii from the native people.
So that's one of the videos I came across. And I know there's a lot of skeptics out there. There's going to be a lot of people that say, well, didn't we seize this land, this great land, once from the natives? Yeah, that's long ago. You know, that's Christopher Columbus era, all that stuff. So when you hear people ignorantly saying, you know, well, they're ignorantly saying they're trying to snatch the land away from the natives. Isn't that what we did? I'm like, well, yeah, it is. Long time ago, you know, Hawaii is one of the last standing states, but we still have natives that live in the country, you know, and not a lot of them hold up today, you know, hold a grudge today. You know, history happened. It happened for whatever reason. It's all in the past, you know. But, you know, you have a lot of natives that are native to Hawaii. Yeah. Did we just get a follow on there? Who just followed? Frank the Tank has followed on Twitch. Thank you for that follow, Frank. Oh, wow. All I heard was, oh, yeah. Like, oh, who is that? You have become one of us. Frank the Tank, you the man, Frank. Thank you for that follow over there on Twitch, buddy. Much appreciated. So, yeah, I'm going to play another video. And this one is talking about Mark Zuckerberg steals Maui. Now, y'all gotta understand that Maui, there's a lot of these rich folk that have land and property out there on Maui, and I'll get into that in a little bit. You know, talk about why a lot of these rich people, why their homes didn't even go up in the fire. That's very interesting. Let's listen to this clip here.
Did Mark Zuckerberg try to steal Maui?
Good morning, good afternoon, or good evening. In today's video, we're taking a very close look at Mark Zuckerberg's questionable behavior in Hawaii that makes locals there want him to leave the islands for good. Be sure to watch this entire video, as I promise, you're going to see things that mainstream media absolutely does not want you to see.
Okay, I'm not going to play that whole thing right there. It's 5 minutes long. But if you guys want to check it out, like I said, over in our Discord, if you click the link and join in on our Discord, we have a podcast leftover section called Tune In Live Scraps. So any video, any article that we read, any video that we play here on air, if you guys want to catch it yourselves, it's over there in the Discord. So you guys can look at it for yourselves, get a rundown on what's going on. So I'm going to try to find a couple more videos I have here talking about Maui. This one here, okay, this one is from August 21st.
So what's actually going on in Maui? U.S. Marines engaged and neutralized a FEMA convoy in Maui.
Now, before I continue, this guy, he looks like he's with the military, police, whoever, you know, he's got a badge, walkie-talkie, all that stuff. He's the one making this video, and the video is labeled U.S. Marines versus FEMA. FEMA apparently got involved with this whole tragedy. And even though if you look up online articles about FEMA, and there's articles that are immediately stating that FEMA was not involved, no, FEMA didn't do this, FEMA didn't do that, but there's eyewitnesses accounts that include FEMA in this incident, and let's hear why.
And I will add at the end of this video a couple screenshots from the article if you want to pause and read for yourself. The convoy was fleeing fire-stricken Lahaina and would have escaped had it not been for the Marines taking it down. The chase began early Friday morning when Marines and FEMA had a shootout in the Maui Forest Reserve east of Lahaina Beach. According to intelligence reports, the Marines caught FEMA red-handed burying corpses in an earthen grave the feds had excavated with a backhoe.
FEMA forces have been caught burying bodies on the land of Maui. They've been caught burying bodies. How many bodies did they actually retrieve from the fires? Let's see. How many bodies retrieved? How the fuck you spell retrieved? From Maui fire. I can't even spell retrieved. Okay. So only 2 in the estimated 93 victims were ID. This is as of August 13th, 11 days ago. 93 victims. 2 days later, Hawaii works to identify 106 confirmed dead people. And then 1 day ago, the BBC reported that Maui fires, more than 1,000 are still missing as the search continues. More than 1,000 people are missing. Where do they go? Does this video actually explain, or does this guy go into detail and explain what happened to those 1,000 people? Why the media doesn't want to cover it? Let's continue.
A procession of FEMA agents hauled bodies of men, women, and children out of an M35 Deuce and a half and heaped them on top of each other as federal supervisors stood around smoking cigarettes and drinking coffee. So the Marines dismounted a distance away from the camp and they crept up undetected. The Marines took cover and began firing on the feds, and a dozen of them fell immediately. And then the feds began screaming, saying, "Don't shoot, we give up." So this is obviously a pretty severe situation, and it's not surprising that you're hearing nothing about this on the mainstream media. Of course, we all know how reliable they are.
Yes, we do.
As the FEMA helicopter that had extracted some of the members attempted to flee, the Marines fired 3 grenades from a Mach 19 mounted on a Humvee, and one clipped the rotor, and then another landed in the open doorway, causing the helicopter to explode and crash. So I'm not personally sure how true all of that really is, but this seems to be one of the first documented incidents that proves the motives that FEMA really has. FEMA's not here to help us. They're here to control us. They're here to take our freedoms away. They're here to lock you up, put a mask back on you, go take the vaccine. When I started posting on TikTok years ago and started getting banned, one account after the other, I told myself I was going to keep this up because the truth needs to be heard. Somebody needs to be telling what's really going on. So when the shit hits the fan, people aren't surprised. And I think for the most part now, a lot of people are awake, but nobody really knows what to do now. Nobody knows what the next step should be. But one thing I can say for sure is until all this gets figured out, FEMA is not the one to trust. Thank God we still have some true patriots.
Exactly. His words exact. FEMA is not one to trust. You're very welcome, Arrow. I follow you on Twitch. Yeah, anytime, Frank. Thank you for checking us out. Thank you for the follow there, buddy. But yeah, FEMA is now involved, apparently. And I know there's going to be articles if I look up. Okay, let's pull up Google. FEMA Maui fires. Watch this. Anger grows as FEMA workers stay in luxury motels amid the fires. FEMA director addresses people that are unaccounted for. That's CNN. I don't do any CNN because CNN is nothing but communist news. The Communist News Network. But then we got all these supposed fact tracker websites, AP News, online posts spread misinformation about FEMA aid. Hawaii wildfires. This is from FEMA.gov. Oh my, I really want to see what these assholes said over here. FEMA. Oh, what did they say? Help for the families in disaster. Yeah, okay. Does this website, does this page even say anything about it? Oh, it just explains FEMA is not allowed to provide disaster assistance for certain losses covered by the U.S. Small Business Administration disaster loans. The SBA provides low-interest disaster loans to individuals and households to help with disaster losses. Oh, so you mean like Joe Biden, when he came out and told people, we're gonna give the people of Maui that suffered $700 checks per household. What the fuck does $700 cover? These families just lost their homes to a grand incident. They just lost everything. Their vehicles melted and charred to the fucking streets. Their houses burned to the ground. These people are homeless. They're being pushed out of their homes. Not only that, it was said that any kind of aid that was being wheeled in there was being pushed out. All these aid trucks, they were being stopped at checkpoints. Nobody was allowed to come in and provide any kind of aid. Water mains were not shut off. The power lines, they tried to blame power lines for the whole fire. They tried to say power lines were down during a storm or something, and it caused the wildfire. Kind of like how the California wildfires, right? What happens out in California every year? A wildfire. What sparks it? Well, let's see, dried land, the dry air. You know, if you got really dry air, you know, if there's no kind of moisture pumping in the air, especially in a forest area where everything is dry, the leaves are dry and all, what do you think's going to happen? A fire sparks. It's science, people. It's not climate change, which is what they're trying to blame. There's just so much information that is piling up right now on me, and I can only do so much and try to get everything out there. But you know, one thing they're trying to blame is climate change. Climate change. Every time on this show, I always talk about it. Climate change. Climate change is a fucking myth. It's a fucking myth started up by your Al Gores and that little, what is it, a little German or Russian cunt, Greta suck a dick, whatever fuck her name is. How dare you? Climate change is real. Our fires are burning harder. We are getting hotter summers. Well, guess what? We're orbiting around the fucking sun. Why do you think we get so fucking hot? The fucking Earth shifts. It has axes. It shifts every season. The northern hemisphere gets hotter during the summertime because it's aiming toward the sun. It gets colder in the winter and the fall and the spring because it's aimed away from the sun. The Earth shifts. And then you got morons like this that blame climate change. Well, I guess climate change is to blame for the reason the Earth's axis keeps rotating every goddamn season, right? I guess climate change is to blame for all these heavy thunderstorms that we've been having, all these tornadoes, all that good shit. Climate change, right? Yeah. But nobody's directly to blame for any of this shit, right? But getting back to FEMA will automatically refer you to the SBA to be considered for a disaster loan if you meet SBA's income standards, if you meet their standards. So you mean to tell me that these sorry sons of bitches funded by the government will only provide some kind of loan or aid to you if you meet the Small Business Administration standards? And then you got Joseph Biden joking about it, saying, we're going to provide them with $700 checks per household. Meanwhile, that fucking sad sack of fucking donkey dick shit wants to send $20 million more over to the Ukraine, a country I could give two fucking shits about. Alright, right off the bat, Ukraine, if they get wiped off the goddamn earth, I don't even fucking care. People want to sit there and say, well, we get our grain from Ukraine. We get our bread and wheat and all that stuff. Yeah, we got land here that we could fucking grow it ourselves. We have the fucking plantations for the shit. We have the lands. We have the farms. We have the plantations. We got the weather, of course. We can grow the shit ourselves right here in America. If we care so much about this goddamn country as being bombed by Russia over fucking bread, this is a fucking sad society. Just like the Middle East. Yes, I understand we get our oil from the Middle East. Where else can we get our oil from? The native Alaska. Remember the pipeline that Trump wanted to work on? He put hundreds of thousands of people to work on, gave them jobs. At day one that this old hairy ball sack piece of donkey shit hit office, what was the first thing he did? He shut the oil pipeline down. Thousands of jobs gone to waste. Everybody unemployed. And yet this motherfucker wants to sit there and talk about Bidenomics. We've created jobs. Yeah, a lot of these people had good paying careers, good jobs that you took right out from under them because of fucking COVID-19. Where are they at now? They got to work 3 jobs now to make ends meet. They're working at fucking McDonald's, Walmart, Burger King, Wawa's, Royal Farms, trying to make ends meet, trying to find something, you know, to support their family, to keep a roof over their heads. You want to say unemployment is down, everybody's working again? That's because you killed everybody's good jobs. That's why a lot of businesses went under. And I'm pretty sure the same it can be said about Maui, because you just took away a lot of jobs. You took away a lot of homes in Maui. Now you got hundreds of people are homeless. They're living in the streets. They're living in whatever they have left of their cars. Let me play another fucking video real quick here. God damn, where the hell is my TikTok at? Here we go.
It's not being reported right now in the news, but on a neighboring island of Lanai, they found 183 bodies washed ashore there.
183 bodies washed ashore on a neighboring island.
There's 800 as of today reported missing. There are many.
800 today, as of today, reported missing. 183 bodies washed ashore on a neighboring island. 800 are still remaining missing.
Hundreds that are being refrigerated right now, trying to get ID.
Hundreds of bodies are being frozen right now so they can identify who they are. Try to get families in there to provide any kind of DNA.
Asking people on the island to provide their DNA so they can match DNA to others. Outside the media, they're expecting this to reach almost 2,000 people in death toll. This is right up there among the worst, if not the worst, since us becoming a nation as fires go. 85 Paradise, and that was considered the worst.
Viral images appearing to show evidence of directed energy weapons have been shared online. They're weapons like lasers that use energy fired at the speed of light to damage or destroy targets. According to the U.S. Government Accountability Office, many countries, including the U.S., are researching.
All right, I'm going to pause this video right here. It's very interesting that video, that little segment cut into that whole interview right there. Now, the guy was talking about they are estimated possibly 1,000, maybe 2,000 people, close to 2,000 casualties. They didn't even find them all yet. A lot of them are still missing. Going back to FEMA, did FEMA really actually get involved and try to cover things up? Because they're moving awfully fast with cleaning this thing up, with clearing everything up. They're moving awfully fast. But then getting into the next topic about it, so this video is talking about direct energy weapons, such as lasers. Use energy fired at the speed of light. These weapons can produce force that ranges. Oh shit! I gotta have to rewind the video there. All right, that ranges from deterrent to damaging to destructive. Many countries, including the United States, are researching their use. Now, I'm pretty sure a lot of you have seen videos or heard about this. Direct energy weapons being used, and I'll get into that in a minute. Let's finish this up.
The U.S. are researching their use, but these viral images do not show those weapons.
Yeah, because a lot of videos that have surfaced on platforms like TikTok, Instagram, maybe some on YouTube, if YouTube actually allowed them, because I know how much YouTube likes to censor people. I know how much they like to censor everybody. So there's another one, and this one goes back to the whole thing with FEMA. I'm not even going to read any more of this bullshit from FEMA. Fuck FEMA. Federal aid. Federal assistance is available to eligible individuals and families affected by this disaster. The Hawaii. Fuck you all. Fuck FEMA. And I will tell you why in a second. Let's watch this video.
This is absolute breaking news. Everybody needs to see this immediately. Military arrest FEMA Deputy Administrator Eric Hooks. It is no longer a conspiracy. People, open your eyes and ears. United States Marines on Saturday arrested Deputy Administrator of FEMA Eric Hooks on charges of treason, alleging in a 34-page indictment that
God, you can't even hear that.
well associated with Black Rock violence.
You can't even hear the video right there. Shit. It's so fucking low. But this is talking about the military made an arrest of FEMA Deputy Administrator Eric Hooks. United States Marines on Saturday. Now, this article came out on the 22nd. 22nd was this past Tuesday. So this past Saturday on the 19th, they arrested Deputy Administrator of FEMA Eric Hooks on charges of treason, alleging in a 34-page indictment that Hooks and his boss, Deanne Criswell, ordered agents on Maui to deny fire victims food and water, to inhibit civilian. Let's see. To inhibit civilian relief efforts, to stop by any means necessary. Now, if you want to talk about Biden being an evil son of a bitch, this motherfucker right here, he might as well be the fucking shit under Biden. He looks like a fucking piece of shit that dropped out of Biden's crooked ass. This son of a bitch ordered agents in Maui to deny victims food and water and any kind of civilian relief. Had them stopped by any means necessary. Any great tragedy that hits any country, including ours, we should have the ability to help out our fellow man, right? Help others out in need. Why are the people of Maui not that important? Why is there no funding for this shit? Why is there no organization that is raising money? I'm pretty sure there is. I haven't heard of any of it, but why isn't anybody raising a hand or raising a finger, moving a finger to help these people out? And then I got one person over here in the comments of this video. Fake, fake, fake. Stop dividing our country and doing China's bidding. It's not China. Well, China's going to invade us here in the next following fucking months, but that's a whole other story. Sorry, but it's not verified. You can't trust these. You can't trust no name on websites. And a search shows that there is still a conspiracy, false information. Yeah. You got people on here that are saying, there's false information. We got to fact check this. We got to fact check this. Well, let's talk about the fires real quick, and then I'll talk about the direct energy weapons that people have gotten video proof of what happened to the land. It's very interesting. You can look it up. There's a lot of videos on TikTok and there's a lot of videos on Instagram that show this proof. They are being taken down rapidly. I've seen them. I've watched them. This shit ain't CG. This ain't made up for fucking views. This is stuff that's put on, you know, and it's being viewed by hundreds of fucking people. And there's hundreds of people in the videos that are witnessing these events. So this is from a day ago, BBC News. Maui fires. More than 1,000 people still missing as the search continues. More than 1,000 people still remain unaccounted for after wildlife fire ripped through Hawaiian town of Lahaina 2 weeks ago. Authorities are now expected to make public a list of the missing in the coming days to try to narrow the search. Some search teams combing through the rubble are finding only bones and fragments of bodies, which makes the task much more difficult. The official death toll stands right now at 115 people. The blazes destroyed most of the historic Maui town of Lahaina, I might be pronouncing that wrong, on August 8th. And the fires are now considered the worst natural disaster in Hawaii state history. At a press conference on Tuesday, FBI Special Agent Stephen Merrill, overseeing the search, said, "We may not know in the end about everybody." But then again, the FBI are working with the Biden administration. They're just as crooked. Do I even really want to trust anything an FBI specialist says? Just like right now, I know they're tapping into a little webcam up there. You can't see me, but I'm pretty sure they can see me. I'm pretty sure they can hear me through this right now. Hey, FBI. Hey, NSA. I'm reporting some truth. Better come knock on my front door. I'll be waiting, motherfuckers. So let's see. We're considering everybody on that list until we can prove that they're not on that list. Roughly 1,400 of the 2,500 people who were initially reported unaccounted for have been found. So apparently they found, let's see, who were initially reported unaccounted have been found. So they found 1,400 apparently, but the exact number of the missing has been a difficult figure for officials to tally. Every day the numbers will change, Merrill said. The latest missing estimate comes a day after Maui Mayor Richard Bisson. Richard is a crooked one too. Gotta watch the asshole. He's one of the ones that is trying to yank the land from the natives of Maui. Why? Well, it's because Maui has some very, very rich land out there. Some very, very rich land out there in Maui. There's a lot of money invested into it and a lot of money that they can make, right? But we'll get into that a little bit later. You'll learn about that. Oh, yeah. But he did say that the number was thought to be around 850 people missing. Officials have been unable to estimate how many of the 1,000+ missing are presumed dead. Search crews for cadaver dogs have been scouring the burned area for human remains. The ferocious heat from the fire, high enough to melt fire trucks, has made the task complicated, as some of the search teams are finding only bones or fragments of bodies among the piles of ashes. Authorities have been asking family members to provide DNA to help identify victims. At least 104 DNA reference samples have been collected so far in an effort to construct family trees or pedigrees. The Lahaina fire burned roughly 3.39 square miles and destroyed at least 2,200 structures, according to the BBC's partner CBS. The damage is estimated to have cost $6 BN, I guess it's billion, I don't fucking know, dollars, whatever BN is. Officials have publicly identified 13 people who died in a blaze. Among them are a avid musician, loving grandmothers, and an aspiring father. That's all they can give us right there. What's going on, Ignited Gamer? Welcome to the show, right over here on YouTube. Welcome to talking about the Maui fires, the truth behind the Maui fires, what really happened. August 16th, Forbes. First victims of the Maui fire identified. Why identifying fire victims is difficult. After a week, the first 5 victims of the Maui fire have been identified, but officials warn the identification process will be difficult Experts say the destruction of identifiable features like hair, fingerprints, and tattoos and official records by the fire are the reason. The death toll for Maui reached 106 on Tuesday. This article came out on the 16th last week. So by their standards, it was 106 people that were found, but the number is expected to rise as crews continue to search the wreckage the fires left behind. Of the 106 victims, only 5 have been identified. Maui County officials confirmed the identities of 2 residents who died in the fires that ravaged through the town. Robert Dickman, spelled D-Y-C-K, okay, Robert Dickman, 74, and Buddy Jantok, 79. 3 other individuals were identified, but the county is waiting until officials have contacted their next of kin before the names are released. Hawaii Governor Josh Green told CBS News crews are estimated to find between 10 to 20 people a day, probably until they finished. Searching over the next 10 days, officials expect between 85% and 90% of the area to be searched by the weekend. About 1,300 people are still missing, and around 32% of the area has been searched, according to the Maui County press release. Though officials believe a larger than reported share of the area may have already been searched. Families of missing people have given 41 DNA samples to help officials with identifying victims, to the release says. So everybody keeps talking about how difficult it is to find people. Well, yeah. Look at the shit that happened with 9/11, the Twin Towers, when they fucking went down. It was hard to find people in that rubble. You had two, when 9/11 happened, you had 2 enormous buildings next to each other. They were hit by planes, of course. The towers went down like the fucking Titanic. Let's just say that. And I know there's people that will say that are like conspiracy theorists out there. They will say there were explosions that happened at the base of the towers, which caused them to collapse, even though the planes hit the top of the towers. I guess, truthfully, yeah, the planes hitting the top of the towers, midway, higher up, I don't think that would cause a building to completely collapse, but there's a lot of science behind it, so who knows? It may have been rigged to blow up from the base, or it could be, as he said, when the planes hit the tower, and the fire from that area heated up the metal structure in the whole building, that heated up the metal spreading out, and it made it weaker and weaker, and that's what caused the collapse. But that would take time, wouldn't it? It wouldn't be instantly. But that's a whole other story, though. But that was one big tragic incident right there. 9/11, we'll never forget. Whereas with Maui right here, all this shit happens, and they're talking about, oh, it's so hard to find people, so hard to find people. Well, this is not 9/11. You don't have a building that has fallen on several people. You're not dealing with buildings, you're dealing with homes. You're dealing with flat land. It's an island. What fucking Empire State Building structure do you have on fucking Hawaii? I wouldn't even dare to even want to construct a building on Hawaii. You know what Hawaii has? Fucking volcanoes that are taller than buildings. Those poor people, hundreds of years, they've suffered with fucking volcanoes on that island. That's one reason why I will never live on Hawaii, Islands are isolated, so anything that comes in, you gotta wait for it, by air, by sea, or whatever. But if a fucking volcano erupts on an island, you're shit. You're fucking yesterday's garbage. The groundhogs are bringing your mail. You're fucking tuna fish. How can I put it any more subtle? How can I be more subtle about what goes on the island of Hawaii, But then something like this that you can't escape from. But it was specifically targeted. Fox Weather reported this a day ago. 2 weeks after the Maui fires, a number of unaccounted for remains elusive, with officials pleading DNAs. I'm not going to go through all these articles and read them, but like I said, if you guys want to keep up to date with anything that I read on here or that I watch, I will post it in our Discord server. under podcast leftovers, tune in live scraps. Discord link is down below in the description section if you're watching us on YouTube or if you're watching us on Twitch right now live. Scrolling down in our about section, you will see the link for Twitter. You will see the link for Discord along with a whole bunch of others. Click them and it'll take you to the right respected areas. I want something because I don't even remember. Let's see, August 16th, Maui wildfires. I don't even think there's an article that goes. I mean, there should goes back. Because when did the Maui fires happen? August 9th or something. Let's see. Hang on, guys. I'm gonna take a quick break, and I'll be right back.
Only with Super Nintendo, and it's like nothing you've ever faced. Now you're playing with power. Superpower.
We're just gonna love these sweet fruity tricks. Yeah.
Ho, ho, out! Oh, I mean, ho, ho, ho! Oh, boy! A big bowl of tricks! A delicious part of this complete breakfast! One bite of those fruity, fashion-colored puffs and I'll really be jolly! It's gonna be a raspberry red, lemony yellow Christmas! An orangey orange, grapey purple, lime green Christmas! Joy to the world! I'm gonna get to eat tricks! Ho, ho, ho! Merry Christmas, Santa.
Dashing for the plane, trying to make the flight.
Alright, welcome back to the podcast, guys. I apologize for that. I had to step away and take care of something real quick. I really gotta change the Be Right Back video. That's from Christmas of some of the 90s. I got a whole bunch of those blocks of commercials. I'm gonna change those here pretty soon. Put something a little bit more within the summer or fall up there. So, but before I came back, I did look up when did the Maui fires start. It was in early August. It was a series of wildfires that they claim broke out in the U.S. state of Hawaii, predominantly on the island of Maui. The wind-driven fires prompted evacuations, caused widespread damage, killing at least 115 people and leaving over 1,100 others missing from the town of Lahaina. So yeah, it was early this month when it all went down. How did the fire start? This is an article from, let's see, updated. Oh, it was updated today, but the article came out on August 9th. How did the Maui fire start? We know about the cause of the blaze. No, the fuck you don't. You all claim you do. Before I read into this sack of shit from CBS, I'm going to share it over there in the Discord. You guys can read along with me. With that grin on their face like I do. Let's take a look at this fucking article. Deadly wildfires in Hawaii, which killed over 100 people and forced thousands to evacuate, were fueled by a mix of land and atmospheric conditions that could create fire weather. A massive blaze destroyed much of the historic town of Lahaina on Maui, and the search for the victims continued as hundreds remained missing. Ooh. You see, this first paragraph is a boatload of goat shit to me. It is a boatload of fucking goat shit, and I will explain why in a little bit. But they're going to sit there and say it was fueled by a mix of land and atmospheric conditions. Oh, so you're talking about climate change? Climate change? Is that what you're talking? Climate change? Is that what they're referring to when it's atmospheric conditions? Climate change. Shove that shit up your ass. Hawaii Governor Josh Green said a few days ago after the fires broke out that there was very little left of Lahaina. where more than 2,700 structures have been destroyed in what is now the deadliest U.S. wildfire in more than a century. Green said he expects the death toll to keep climbing. There are more fatalities that will come, Green told CBS The News. The fire was so hot that what we find is the tragic finding that you wouldn't imagine, as though a fire has come through and it's hard to recognize anybody. What a fucking story that guy told. A sack of shit. Nearly 2 weeks after the blazes first spread, more than 800 people were still missing, and many of them could be children, Lahania's mayor said. I recently saw a video where some reporter kept asking officials that were doing an interview, where are the children? Where are the children? It was a reporter. He did a video that was on, somebody had it on TikTok. It was a reporter. He was asking them what happened to the children. Where are the children in Maui that disappeared? You know what answer he got? Nothing. He didn't get a single answer out of these fucking dickbags. They walked away. They didn't want to answer any questions. They didn't want to face the public. They didn't want to face anybody, any kind of journalist or news reporter. They just want to get the news out there that they want. The false truth. That's what they want. They get the false truth out there. That's exactly what they did. They didn't report any fucking children missing. People were asking about the children missing, but there was no report of it. While Maui grapples with the devastating losses and officials work to implement relief and recovery plans, many people have raised questions about how the fires began and whether anything could have been done to prevent such a disaster. What caused the Maui fire? An investigation is underway to determine what initially sparked the wildfires and the cause that has not been officially determined. Investigators are looking into whether downed power lines and decisions by Hawaiian Electric, the state's primary power company, played a role. So here they were trying to pass on the blame to somebody. Somebody's going to take accountability for it. It ain't going to be the government. Oh no, the government has nothing to do with this. Government has no role in this shit, you know. Somebody's got to take the blame. Down power lines. So they put the blame on the power company. Because remember earlier when I stated down power lines? They're all sitting there saying, how come the power company didn't turn off the power? How come they didn't shut off the water main break? I need to start to sound like Jerry Seinfeld. You know, they're blaming Hawaiian Electric for the whole damn thing. They're saying they have down power lines, but why didn't they close off the power? Why didn't they shut the power off? What about the water? Water mixed with electric equals fire. Why wasn't the water shut off? Why wasn't the power shut off? All these things played a role. Like I said, somebody's got to take the blame for it. And Hawaiian Electric, that's their ace in the hole. So even though all this shit has happened, they need somebody to blame. Let's blame them. There was down power lines. They didn't turn off the power. Okay, were the power lines even reported to begin with? Well, they reported. I'm pretty sure people have called and said, something's wrong. There's power lines out here sparking fires. What were they all doing? Were they all sitting around smoking cigarettes, jerking off and shit? Is that what they were doing? What was that one guy that said in that one? I done close it out. But you know, they were sitting around talking and smoking cigarettes and not giving a fuck. Is that what they were doing? Possibly. Much of Hawaii was under a red flag warning for fire risk when the wildfires broke out, with dangerous high wind conditions caused by Hurricane Dora, a Category 4 storm that was moving across the Pacific Ocean hundreds of miles south of the Hawaiian Islands. I don't even remember hearing about Hurricane Dora. Let me look that up. Let's see. Hurricane Dora. I know Hillary just came through. There was a Hurricane Dora in 1999. There was a Hurricane Dora in 2011. There was a Hurricane Dora in 1964. And she's making her grand fourth appearance all of a sudden in 2023? Holy batshit. So let's see, August 12th. Hurricane Dora makes history without making landfall. So now they're going to blame a hurricane for it, right? Let me play this shit. I hope there ain't no ads with this. Here we go.
Everyone. It has been a devastating, heartbreaking week here in Hawaii, as you know. I'm meteorologist Jennifer Robbins. A lot of people still processing what's happening on Maui and the aftermath after those ferocious fires that came through. And it was all fueled by Hurricane Dora passing south of the islands and also a large area of high pressure. And the pressure difference between the two created those really strong winds over the islands. Taking a closer look at the journey that Dora took, a long Pacific voyage, and it's one for the history books. It started off the coast of Mexico, and you can see that dotted line there. That's how far the system has traveled. In fact, 10,000 miles. It remains as a hurricane as it crosses over from the Central Pacific, now entering the Western Pacific, past the international date line. And one other time this has happened, Hurricane John in 1994, that was the longest lasting tropical cyclone before this event. And it's incredible how far these tropical cyclones could travel. So once it reaches the international date line, it becomes a typhoon. That's the name it's given on that side of the globe over the Western Pacific. But now a hurricane still, Category 2 strength, in fact. It was Category 4 for quite some time. That area of high pressure that was due north of the islands, now that's backing away. That's over the western end as well. And also Dora continues to pull farther and farther to the west, so we're not seeing as windy conditions as we had in the weekend. But this is what happened over our first alert weather day when all the ingredients came together. That area of high pressure, the circulation around it is clockwise and then counterclockwise with Dora. So those opposite circulations where those converging winds come together, it was right over the islands. As that happened, that's when that funnel of strong, ferocious winds came through, fueling those fires. Unfortunately, we saw east winds about 20 to 30, gusts up to 60 miles per hour over Lahaina. It was steady there. And we did see over the West Maui Mountains gusts even higher than that reported. So incredible to see the opposing factors there of that area of high pressure in Dora. And we will continue to see that pull away over the Western Pacific.
So it never made landfall, but there was a couple areas of pressure that were kind of tag teaming along, just to, create a whole bunch of wind over, over Maui. I was going to say, if there was any kind of rain that day, if any rain sparked that, if any rain came down, like I very rarely would see a fire spark out because everything would be wet. Because I don't think fires can start in, when things are wet. Let me look at that. I mean, I might be wrong in my science. I can always admit when I'm wrong. Can a fire spark when things are wet? My science may be wrong. Can somebody who is wet catch on fire? Oh my God. The human body does not catch on fire very easily. By the time the body catches fire, the owner has been dead for a while. It will still burn out. Let's see. Why are wet things much harder to burn? Let's see. Curious is cold. I don't feel like reading something on Reddit. Can water and electrical outlet start a fire? Yeah. Who'd be dumb enough to fucking do that? How to start a fire with wet wood. We'll come back and take a look at this in a minute, guys. We'll take another break. See you in a minute.
Words can't describe the endless challenge of Super Mario World, so we let the players do the talking. Super Mario World is here. It's one of the new generation of Nintendo games. It comes only with Super Nintendo, and it's like nothing you've ever faced. Now you're playing with power, superpower.
Santa's gonna love these sweet fruity tricks. Yeah.
Ho, ho, out! Oh, I mean, ho, ho, ho! Oh, boy! A big bowl of tricks! A delicious part of this complete breakfast! One bite of those fruity, fashion-colored puffs and I'll really be jolly! It's gonna be a raspberry red, lemony yellow Christmas! An orangey orange, grapey purple, lime green Christmas! Joy to the world! I'm gonna get to eat tricks! Ho, ho, ho! Merry Christmas, Santa.
Dashing for the plane.
Hey guys, I'm back. Approaching hour 2 of the program. Sorry I keep stepping away. I got things that are happening beyond my control within the little studio down here. If you guys are just now tuning in on our YouTube channel, Arrow Entertainment, be sure to hit that like and subscribe button down below if you haven't subscribed yet. We're also live over on twitch.tv/Arrow with a name. If you're on Twitch, be sure to hit that follow button over there. Show us some love. So we're going to get back into this. So I haven't really figured out how to start a fire in the rain. Well, there are things. Let's see, method isn't fast enough. So apparently you can combust a fire in the rain. It's possible. I guess you got to have the right methods to do it. So I guess you can spark a fire with a wet leaf, so to say. So let's get back to this article here from CBS News. They were talking about the Category 4 storm that was moving. Oh, by the way, anybody out there in California, how was Hurricane Hillary, by the way? You know, we get hurricanes all the time over here on the East Coast. You know, they hit Florida, the Carolinas, Alabama, Mississippi, Missouri, Georgia, all that. By the time they hit land, it's like a Category 1 or 2. Even the islands down here, Cuba, Jamaica, and all that, they get hit every single year by a hurricane. And California out there, oh, they were fucking horrible. It's like fucking liberals running amok. They were all panicking. You got liberals out there in California panicking, like if Trump won 2024, that's how they would look. Hurricane Hillary, oh, we never had a hurricane. Oh my God, it's because of climate change. Climate change. Look, the fucking planet does some weird shit. It has for the last, 1,000, 2,000 fucking years. And you all want to sit there and cry, climate change. We've never had a hurricane. Climate change. It's never snowed here before. Climate change. Shove your climate change shit up your fucking ass. Why am I mentioning climate change? Because, well, apparently climate change has something to do with the Maui fires as well. Maybe I'll look that up. Oh my God, let me look that up just so I fucking remember to talk about it. Did climate change cause the Maui fires? Oh my God, let me finish this article here. All right, going back to this article, we don't know what exactly or actually ignited the fires, but we were made aware in advance by the National Weather Service that we were in a red flag, so that dry conditions for a long time, so the field, the trees, and everything was dry. Major General Kenneth Hara, Commander General of the Hawaii Army National Guard, said at the briefing Wednesday, August 9th, that along with low humidity and high winds set the conditions for the wildfires. The earliest blaze reported by Maui County officials was described as a brush fire in the Alenda Road area of Kula, a town in the island's upcountry region, where wildfires eventually burned through about 700 acres and claimed 19 homes. On Tuesday, August 8th, Maui County shared the first details about the Kula brush fire that had forced evacuations early that morning. A video clip from the security camera footage at the Maui Bird Conservation Center, located along Alanda Road in Makawa, directly adjacent from Kula, appears to show a flash in the woods around the property at 10:47 p.m. on Monday, August 7th. The Washington Compost, as I call them, originally reported on the video, which the Conservation Center shared to its Instagram page over the weekend. In the social media posts, Jennifer Pribble, a senior research coordinator of the organization, suggested the flash may have happened after a tree fell on a power line during the strong winds. I think that when the tree is falling on the power line, the power goes out, our generators kick in, the cameras come back online, and then the forest is on fire. Hold the fuck up. Hold the fuck up. You mean to tell me? You mean to fucking tell me, with what this person just said? Now, anybody correct me if I'm wrong, please. This person just said that it was possible due to the strong winds, and I know strong winds have been known to blow trees over, blow poles over. I've seen it in my area. Winds as strong as 50, 60 miles an hour. If a pole is weak enough, if a tree is weak enough, it'll blow it over. Now, in this area, when a power line is downed, and they've been down before, I've never seen a power line instantly spark a fire anywhere. But then again, I'm not talking about, we don't have any wooded area where I live. It's a community. We got trees over near the community park, but we do have trees. So you're telling me that this hurricane that came through, and with all the strong winds blowing, caused a tree in a forest to fall over, knock down some power lines, and cause the fire? Where did I see that at? Jennifer Pribble, a senior research coordinator at the organization, suggested the flash may have been a tree fell over on a power line during the strong winds. I think that when a tree is falling on a power line, the power goes out, the generators come on, camera comes back online, and then the forest on fire. So you mean to tell me, okay, how long does it take for generators to kick in? Okay, if you got a backup generator set, it usually takes your standard business generator seconds to kill over. It takes seconds. It could take a minute, but for the most part, I've seen them take seconds. Backup generators take seconds. 5 seconds, maybe 10 seconds to kick over. You mean to tell me that within, let's just say it was a 10-second backup generator. You mean to tell me a 10-second generator, the light, everything comes back on, and once everything's popped up, the forest is on fire! Holy shit! The entire forest is on fire! From one power line that sparked an entire forest fire instantly in a matter of 10, 20 seconds maybe? But then, okay, when backup generators kick in, let me tell you about backup generators. I've worked in plenty of places that fucking have them, okay? Backup generators. The lights come back on, if they're all turned on, of course. But there's only a select few. You don't want to run a whole business, a whole building off of a generator. Generators only generate so much power. Depending on the size, depending on the wattage, the usage, whatever, generators only put out so much. Either on solar panels or gasoline, some kind of fuel source that you use for. I have a generator in my shed. It has enough power to generate through the house. We turn certain things off so that it does not overpower the generator and cause it to blow up or whatever. It will blow up, it may not, but it may short it out. It may cause it to stop working. Generators are funny, and you got to understand how a generator works. And as for their camera system, the cameras came back online. Well, first, when the generator kicks on, you got to make sure your servers come on. You got to have some kind of connection. You got to make sure your connection to your servers is back up and running. You got to make sure your cameras are up and running. You know, the cameras are either hardwired or they're wireless. But some kind of system that connects, you know, to those cameras, and it's always a server. I know how this shit works. Trust me, I know how camera systems work. I've worked around them. It will take them a couple minutes to reboot the system, even the servers. So I may be going a little bit too much out of there, but you know, the way that she said, the power goes out, our generator kicks in, the cameras come back online, and then the force on fire. So maybe it did take him about 5-10 minutes. 5-10 minutes to get everything situated. But by then, the whole forest is not going to be on fire. The whole forest, several trees, hundreds of trees, they're not going to be instantly on fire in a matter of 5-10 minutes. Trust me, it's not going to do that. Maybe one tree. Maybe spreading up one tree. Maybe I've hit a few leaves or whatever. But that's it. A whole fucking forest fire is not going to spark in 5 fucking minutes. Let's continue with this shit. This fucking shit show on CBS. Christ. Echoing wildfire experts, Governor Green said on August 11th that he believes a confluence of weather conditions contributed to the ignition and spread of the blaze. Weather conditions. Nice. It is a product, in my estimation, of certainly global warming, combined with droughts, combined with a superstorm, where we had a hurricane offshore several hundred miles, generating large winds. This person makes me fucking sick. Even my cat behind me, if you hear him, it makes it sick too. Right? Shut up, cat. This son of a bitch has the nerve to say, it is a product, in my estimation, of certainly global warming, combined with droughts, combined with a superstorm, a category 2 fucking hurricane. Shut the fuck up. And the motherfucker's offshore by hundreds of fucking miles, still generating large winds. That's where your climate change comes in, this piece of shit. Did climate change cause the Maui fires? How did the fire start? Officials have not announced a cause, though power lines likely caused the first reported fire. The spread of flammable, non-native grass combined with hurricane-stroke winds could have been a factor alongside the indirect influence of fucking climate change, man. That's all I'm looking at in Google search. Climate change. So that is their biggest fucking reason for this whole fucking thing. Is climate change. That's their whole biggest reason behind it. Fucking climate change. I can't fucking believe it. I knew it was going to come ahead. Really, like, what did I say earlier? Climate change, climate change, climate change, you know? That's all it is, climate change. Let's continue on. The winds were just getting out of control. Power lines were down everywhere. Maui resident J.D. Hessemer, who owned a business in Lahaina, later told CBS Mornings, "We just decided it was not safe to stay around for the day." The National Weather Service noted in a tweet before the fire started that a significant difference in atmospheric pressure between the hurricane and the air north of Hawaii formed a pressure gradient over the islands, which, when combined with dry conditions, posed a serious threat of fires as well as damaging winds. Ooh, climate change. When Hurricane Dora passes well south, with no direct impacts here, the strong pressure gradient between it and the high pressures to the north creates a threat of damaging winds and fire weather. Oh my god, there's a new term, fire weather. Holy shit. Due to the ongoing dry conditions from early Monday to Wednesday, the agency said at the time. Ooh, damn. Fire weather. Never heard that term before. Claims have surfaced in the following days that Hawaiian Electric, which operates Maui Electric and services 95% of the state overall, did not implement precautionary safety measures included in an emergency plan to reduce wildfire risks ahead of the storm. Citing documents, a Washington Compost report noted that the provider did not shut off the electricity to areas where strong winds were expected and could spark flames. So that's where the electric company comes in. So you're blaming the hurricane along with climate change to create fire weather. And now let's put more blame on the electric company because, oh, they didn't turn the electric off. Well, I'm pretty sure nobody really even notified them to say, hey, there's some fires out here. You know, there's a power line going down. Can you send somebody out to shut the power off? So I'm pretty damn sure nobody contacted them at all and told them, hey, power lines are down. What happens when I have a power outage around here, around my area? Who's the first thing I call? The electric company. I put in a ticket. That way they have that ticket, they know what area I'm live in, and they say, okay, we know where the outage is at, we're getting people out there right away. And of course it takes them about a half hour to get out there. But still, they show up. They fucking show up. But did anybody notify Hawaiian Electric about this? Possibly not, and for reasons. Hawaiian Electric has a robust wildfire mitigation and grid resilience program that includes vegetation management, grid hardening investments, and regular inspection for our assets, the company statement said. The company has protocols that may be used when high winds are expected, including not enabling the automatic reclosure of circuits that may open during a weather event. This was done before the onset of high winds. At this early stage, no cause for the fire has been determined. Look at that. Let's read that statement. Okay, so the company has protocols that may be used when high winds are expected, including not enabling the automatic reclosure of circuits that may open again during a weather event. You got circuits that automatically open up again? So you mean to tell me that even if they're working on like a down power line, they can still get electrocuted for that shit? I've never heard of something like that, but okay, I would have thought if you turn the electric off at one, to one circuit, it stays off until somebody powers it back on, but I've never heard of that. Jennifer Potter, a former member of the Hawaii Public Utilities Commission, told the news site Honolulu Civil Beat that she believes there should have been greater alarms raised by the commission to Hawaiian Electric as forecasts began to warn of the hazardous wind conditions. Potter said that the Utilities Commissions should have pushed the electric company to implement a power shutdown protocol ahead of time to mitigate wildfire risks, noting that Hawaii has seen a rise in both the size and intensity of fires in recent years. Maui County announced on August 28th it has sued Hawaiian Electric and several of its subsidiaries, alleging the utility failed to power down its equipment as the storm was approaching and that downed energized power lines ignited the blaze. The lawsuit also alleges failing to maintain the system and power grid, which caused the systematic failures, starting 3 different fires. And I'm not going to read this whole entire article. There's a whole lot going on with it about how the fire started, how wildfires usually start. Everybody knows. Everybody knows how wildfires start. Oh, I already did share it in Discord. Okay. I already got it over there. That's fine. So everybody knows how wildfires start. So they're saying between the hurricane, between an electric company failing to do their job, failing to shut down the power grid, and climate change, all these factors come into play, right? This is another article that I pulled up earlier. Map satellite images show where the Hawaii fires burn throughout Lahaina, Maui. As the crew begins to assess the damage from the deadly wildfires that killed dozens on the Hawaiian islands of Maui, satellite images show the extent of the devastation. Massive blazes broke out and spread rapidly on Maui and the Big Island earlier this week, as strong winds generated by Hurricane Dora, a distant Category 4 hurricane. Mind you, the hurricane was distant, hundreds of miles away. So the only thing you were to get from that storm was maybe the winds. That was about it. You didn't get no rain. You didn't get no tornadoes. You didn't get no heavy rain or hail or anything like that of that nature. Let's go ahead and take a quick break, right? When I come back, we'll finish this, and we will talk about the energy weapons that were used, supposedly, in this incident. We'll be right back.
An angel.
Kellogg's Corn Pops is part of this complete breakfast.
I gotta have my pop. A free go! When Mom calls 1-800-MAGIC-XMAS, each and every Magic Nursery baby, every Magic Nursery pet will bring you the most magic Christmas yet. With every one you buy, you get a free runner Sipper pet. Buy one, get one free. This only lasts till Christmas Day, so have Mom call 1-800-MAGIC-XMAS for details. Requires proof of purchase while supplies last. And have a Magic Nursery Christmas.
Mega Man 3, MC Hammer, Tecmo Bowl, Captain Planet, Rescue
Bowl. Unplug the arcades and put the Tiger Challenge in the palm of your hand. Turn it on. Bo Jackson. Now you can join Bo Jackson in a realistic game of football or baseball as you try and challenge your skills as a sportsman against this super athlete. Turn it loose. Swamp Thing. Now you can travel with Swamp Thing through 4 stages of excitement, over treetops, across forest, underground, and through swamps. So turn on a tiger and turn loose some excitement, because once you've held onto a tiger, you'll never want to let it go.
Yo, video game dudes, talk to me! This is Game Genie, Ronkawoo, the awesome video game enhancer for your Nintendo Entertainment System. Attach it to most of your video games. Double Dragon 3 or Super Mario Bros. 3. You can go to any level, live forever, jump higher, make your own effects, and get radical firepower.
And we have returned to the show, guys. Welcome back to Tune In Live. Once again, if you guys have yet to do so, if you are watching us live on twitch.tv/arrow with a name, hit that follow button down below. Show us some love. Also, over on YouTube, our channel is Arrow Entertainment. Hit that like and subscribe button down below. Also, before I forget, I have links down in the description section and in the about section on our Twitter page. Not Twitter page, our Twitch page. We are also on Twitter, of course. Yeah, we are on Twitter. Link for that is down below. If you want to follow us on Twitter, our Discord, our Instagram. We're also on TikTok. And of course, if you guys want to donate to our Cash App, we are taking donations. If you feel free to donate to us, hit that donation down there to our Cash App. Feel free to do so. However you like, however you wish. So let's go ahead and talk about direct energy weapons in Maui. Not Maui, Maui. God damn it. So before I do any of that, let's go back to this article that I was reading up on. So far, we've already talked about, and I already discovered, they want to talk about down power lines, okay? Down power lines. Hawaiian Electric never shut off the power. They never shut off the water supply. Aid was halted from coming into the city. Nobody received aid. Then they're talking about this distant Category 4 hurricane. Hundreds of miles south of the island. But that, with the high pressure north of it, caused serious winds that helped the wildfires blow. Knocked over a tree or a pole or something. That the pole or tree knocked down a power line. The power line hit the ground. And then everybody's electric came back on. Backup generators. By the time their cameras came back online, by the time the servers were booted up within a 5-10 minute range, the entire force was on fire, right? Everything was on fire. And I bet these guys are sitting there thinking, uh-oh. Uh-oh. Yeah, isn't anybody going to call the electric company and say, hey, the power lines are down, we got to shut it off? So I'm guessing nobody bothered. They failed to contact the electric company. They failed to call anybody and say, hey, power lines are down. We got a fire going on. They all failed. Horribly. They failed. Between all of that and, God forbid, climate change. The almighty climate change. The winds blew through. Climate change. They gotta have some reason to blame everything, right? Climate change. Blame climate change for the fires. Yes, okay. So the hurricane, along with dry conditions on the land, created an environment where wildfires can ignite and grow more easily. Officials said Wednesday that the exact cause of the fires were still unknown. So there you go. The exact cause of them were unknown. But what you got to go off of is down power lines and climate change. The west town of Lahaina, a popular tourist destination and commercial hub with a long and rich cultural history, has hit especially hard by the fires. Aerial video footage and satellite images captured by Maxar Technologies offered a harrowing look at the destruction. Yeah, I see a bunch of smoke. That's all I see is smoke. That's all I see. People dove into the water of the Lahaina harbor, trying to escape the smoke and encroaching flames on Tuesday. The U.S. Coast Guard confirmed later that the crews rescued 17 people from the harbor, all of whom were reported to be stable. Side-by-side images of Lahaina taken before the blaze and on Wednesday after it tore through showed the once lush area badly burned, with the harbor and building rooftops along the shoreline appearing visibly charred. As wind and heavy smoke that previously grounded National Guard helicopters abated somewhat on Wednesday afternoon, Flyovers by the U.S. Civil Air Patrol and the Maui Fire Department showed hundreds of structures were damaged. The damage was described as a wild spread in West Maui. Front Street, a central part of the town with a high concentration of businesses, was completely burned. We need help, a lot of help. We got to get people down here. We need funds allocated for fixing our homes. We are out here working, Kikoa Lansford said. The Pacific Disaster Center and Federal Emergency Management, FEMA, Christ, estimated Friday that more than 2,200 structures have been damaged or destroyed. But remember what I said earlier, you have to be eligible for FEMA to help you. You have to be eligible. You have to be eligible. What a boatload of fucking donkey shit. On behalf of the U.S. Coast Guard, who said this? Let's see. I don't even know who the fuck said that. Okay, so this is a quote from somebody. Okay, this is Captain Aja Kursky, Sector Commander of the Coast Guard Sector Honolulu, said, "On behalf of the U.S. Coast Guard, I wish to convey my sincere condolences to the communities who have been tragically affected by the fires in Maui. Our collaboration with partners, agencies, and neighboring jurisdictions remains steadfast as we unite our resources, knowledge, and equipment to ensure responder and public safety and amplify the impact of our response efforts." Thousands of people are evacuated from impacted areas this week while travelers slept in the Kahului Airport. I know I'm butchering these names. I don't know a lot of these city names. You know, I'm not from Hawaii. I've never been to Hawaii. I'll never go to Hawaii. You know, but Hawaii is still a state, you know, in the United States. You know, and it's still considered, you know, homeland. And this is still a tragic incident. So, you know, I apologize if I'm butchering the names of these cities. Hawaiian Airlines continue to operate flights into and out of Maui's airport in support of essential travel and coordinating with the state, county, and nonprofits to transport first responders, equipment, and supplies to Maui. But however, it has been said that aid has been halted, remember? Aid has been halted. So let's go ahead and look for that article there. Let's see. Aid halted from Maui. Okay. Let's see. Maui residents say government aid is scant, facing criticisms. But you know there's going to be a lot of criticism with this. You know, there's going to be people saying, oh, that article's wrong. It's all scarce. Let's see. We need some help. West Maui residents say government aid is scant. Days after the deadliest American wildfire in more than just a century ignited in West Maui, killing dozens and leveling more than 2,200 buildings, increasingly frustrated residents said that they were receiving far more help from an ad hoc network of volunteers. After the wildfires destroyed the town, hundreds of local residents, a group that includes evacuees along with nearby residences who have found themselves cut from power and internet services, remain affected in West Maui, miles beyond the highway checkpoints. Some evacuees slept in parks, others stayed in their own homes that survived the disaster, or with friends of the wider community. So I'm going to put this also in our Discord section if you guys want to take a look at that under Tuned In Live Scraps. But yeah, it was said that there was aid that was halted. There was police officials that stopped them at checkpoints. They stopped the aid at checkpoints. They would not let anybody come in at all. Oh, wow. So I got breaking news on this podcast, guys. If you guys are listening, Bray Wyatt, WWE superstar Bray Wyatt, if y'all know who he is, passed away at the age of 36 Earlier today, TMZ has reported. Damn. I'm talking about a great tragedy, and now we have even more tragedy going on. Bray Wyatt, WWE wrestler. I know who he is. I don't watch wrestling. I don't watch it that much. But damn, you know, rest in peace, Bray Wyatt. Holy shit. Guess I'm gonna have to share this on I had to share this on Facebook. I got a couple of friends who are friends, you know, a couple of friends who are big wrestling fans. Let's see. Shit. If I could spell his name right. There we go. Share that so that, you know, in case they don't even know about it. Alright, let's get back into the whole thing with Maui. So aid was not, it was halted. It was turned around. They said, nope, we don't need no aid. Nope, they weren't letting anybody in there. They weren't even letting in journalists or even certain news reporters. They wanted certain news reporters in there. So, okay, we'll bring in CNN. We'll bring in Washington Post. We'll bring in CBS. All the liberal media outlets they'll let in. Anybody else? Nope. They didn't let anybody else in. So there was a lot of questionable things that had been going on with that whole situation. Going on in Maui. But let's get to the coup de grace. Okay? The direct energy weapons. Beams, laser beams coming down from the sky. Now, if you Google this, or I binged it, and this is funny because the media and the internet is trying to fact check this shit. They're trying to erase this off the internet, try to say this never happened. This is what happened. Climate change caused the Maui wildfires. Climate change. It wasn't direct energy weapons. It was climate change. Cause of the fires have yet been announced, but officials say directed energy weapons were not involved. These weapons are concentrated electromagnetic energy to fire energy at the speed of light and can destroy enemy targets, according to the U.S. Government Accountability Office. Okay, so the whole thing coming out about these beams coming from the sky. What has our government been doing to us for the last, 50, 60, 70 years when there was talks of UFOs at Area 51, talks of aliens, little movement and shit like that? Didn't they always try to shut us up? Didn't they always have like a Men in Black service come out and try to erase your minds and shit, all that little conspiracy stuff? Well, now we're talking about lasers. So how come the government is not so hush-hush about these? They're coming out and actually talking about what the fuck they are. They are weapons that are concentrated electromagnetic energy to fire energy at the speed of light instantly and destroy enemy targets. So if we have weapons like this, okay, and you know the government's always talking about the Middle East having, weapons of mass destruction. Saddam Hussein, Osama bin Laden, weapons of mass destruction. Bombs and shit, right? But you mean to tell me that we have laser beam weapons? Laser beam weapons that can destroy enemy targets. You mean to tell us that we've had this shit, that you've been working on this shit, but yet you cannot take out our fucking enemies? Putin is probably number one enemy on the hit list. If you don't want to take him out, why haven't you used a laser beam on Putin? How about Kim Jong-un or where the fuck his name is? Why not all these corrupt, fucking hateful leaders in all these other countries that are wanting to go to war with us? Why don't you use these laser beams to use on those enemies? Because it'll spark a war? Shit, you might be doing their countries a favor. You take those fucking evil dictators out. Yeah, there'll be somebody to take their place. But as long as they know that you're not fucking around, you have these high-powered weapons, there wouldn't be no wars. there wouldn't be no conflict. There wouldn't be any of that. But no, Democrats and everything, you don't want peace. We had peace for 4 years with Donald Trump in office, but y'all hated that. Y'all seethed. You seethed the fact that Donald Trump was in office and we had 4 years of peace. No wars. No violence. But y'all were tearing yourself apart for the 4 years, saying, Donald Trump is racist. He's a very hateful man. And now look at it now. The fucking nation's divided by these assholes in office. And now you got the United States Government Accountability Office talking about, yeah, we have these weapons. Y'all want to sit there and talk about it? Yeah, we have these weapons. But that wasn't what sparked the fires. Oh no, they weren't involved. They're concentrated electromagnetic beams that we use to destroy enemy targets. You haven't used them yet. You ain't used them to take out, enemy forces or their military or whatever. You ain't used them yet. So now this is all public knowledge. Everybody knows that the government has this shit now. You want to sit there and tell me you got these fucking weapons. You're not going to use it what they're intended for? But yet when people bring it up and say, oh, we saw beams of light coming from the sky. No, you didn't. No, you didn't. What happened back in the 1940s and 50s? Saw a UFO in the sky. No, you didn't. No, you didn't. Testing water balloons. What happened next? Here comes fucking Agent K&J out to your front door fucking knocking. You say alien one more fucking time and we're gonna flash you with a fucking beam of light. That's what happened. Yeah. Let's look up something here. What's this? Slate.com. Conspiracy theorists about wildfires were virtually unheard of for 5 years ago. Now they're everywhere. The space lasers are back. There have been videos that I've watched. Some of those videos have already been taken down. And I would love to show you those videos right now, but you can look them up. They're on Instagram, they're on TikTok. Look up Maui wildfires, look up laser beams. There are videos out there that people have continuously shared showing beams of light being shot down from the sky. Last week, following the deadly fires that ripped through Maui, a blurry photo circulated on social media showing a massive explosion lighting up on the horizon at dusk. From the flames, a beam of light ascends into the sky. Or according to conspiracy theorists, it descends from the sky. In an August 11th Instagram video, a man claimed that his friend in Hawaii has sent him the photo, makes clear what he thinks is going on here. This was a direct energy weapon assault coming out of the sky, directly targeting the city. In other words, the space laser conspiracy theory is back now. Made famous outside the tinfoil hat world by Representative Marjorie Taylor Greene in 2018 when she speculated that a devastating campfire in California was caused by a space solar generator, possibly backed by the Rothschilds. The space laser conspiracy theory holds in various iterations that some of the deadliest fires in recent history were ignited by the villainous shadow entity. Sometimes it's the government, sometimes it's the elites. Direct energy weapons or focus beams of intense energy that are fired. In the conspiracy theory version of events from satellites are usually cited as the means of attack. Direct energy weapons as a category are not entirely science fiction. Governments are currently looking into ways to potentially use this kind of technology and combat, but the types of attacks depicted in viral videos that have circulated after devastating fires are pure fantasy. So now they're trying to claim it's pure fantasy. But hold up. Wasn't it just 2 minutes ago that I just read that, what was it, the United States Government Accountability Office just admitted that they have these weapons? Didn't they just admit that this shit actually exists? But now they're saying, oh, it's all fantasy, space odyssey. It's all make-believe. How do we fucking know about it? How do we know about it? And then you're admitting that we have these things. You admit what they're used for. In the various iterations of space laser conspiracy theories, motives and villains vary. Some theorists have fixated on that the trees didn't burn and the boats that did, ignoring the very normal science that explains the phenomenon. Now, there is a video circulating. I want you all to look it up after you watch this. Somebody tested laser beams on different colors of the spectrum and how the laser beam affects these different colors of the spectrum. Keep that in mind for what comes next. So then, when you look at videos on these video platforms, when you look at pictures, look at all the vehicles that are burned and charred and melted to the ground, to the gravel, to the tar. Look at all the houses that were affected, lawns that were affected. But look at the trees. Trees are unaffected. Trees haven't burned. They look like fucking palm trees in a sense. Trees were unaffected. You said there was a forest fire? There's trees that haven't been burned. If this was a severe fire, everything would have went up, even the trees around. And a lot of those trees were in that area that went up in flames. All right, ignoring the very normal science that explains the phenomenon. Wet trees have more protection than dry wood. Wind carries ember to boats that also have a flammable fuel. So what you're saying, the reason the trees didn't burn was because they were wet? What about everything else? Okay, so now you're saying that the trees were wet. The trees were wet. So wouldn't that make it hard for anything else to burn? But then again, like I already said, it's possible that fires can be sparked on anything that's wet, in a sense. But they're trying to sit there and say that these trees were wet. They had more protection than dry wood. Wouldn't the houses? Wouldn't these boats that are sitting in water? Wouldn't they be covered in water from supposed rain? I mean, however, you know, it did say that the hurricane did pass by hundreds of miles. Wasn't there any kind of rain? But you want to say that the trees were wet. Okay. A few of the theories posit basically that a space laser was used for depopulation efforts, as in indiscriminate murder, and that it specifically targeted native Hawaiians. But two very specific angles eventually rose to dominate the disclosure last week. First, there was Oprah Winfrey's theory. Oprah Winfrey has a home on Maui, along with a lot of rich people. This one posits that Oprah Winfrey's recent purchase of land in Maui seems to indicate that she had someone start the fires for some sort of real estate benefit. A tweet to this effect that Oprah Winfrey has been buying up land in Maui like crazy, wake up, has netted more than 12 million views. More generically, this theory can be expanded to include the idea that celebrities and elites conspired to raise Lahaina for their own investment and vacation home interests. Then here's the next one. You guys will love this. Then there's the smart city theory. This one argues that someone, tech investors or Hawaii government officials perhaps, wanted to burn Lahaina down to rebuild it as a smart city. As the conspiracy theorists imagine, it would be rebuilt as a high-tech metropolis in which everyone is tracked and monitored and movement is restricted. One popular video stated incorrectly, or they claim incorrectly, that the island had recently held a smart city conference to turn Maui into an entire smart island, changing everything to electric, renewables, solar panels, and pushing everybody into electric vehicles. In reality, an information technology conference held in Hawaii in January dealt with general IT issues. A planned September digital government summit, which will be in Oahu, will not have any panels related to making smart cities in Maui. Well, of course not now, because everybody knows the truth. Everybody knows the truth. Everybody's been talking about these smart cities popping up. Because what the fuck is the Biden administration trying to do by a 2030 deadline? Trying to make everything energy efficient. Electric cars, electric this, electric that. Take out those old stoves and washing machines and water heaters out of your house. Anything that uses any kind of resources like that. Go full energy. Do what we want you to do. Put in what we want you to put in. They want to invade your homes. They're already invading your car. I still will never own a fucking piece of shit Tesla. You know, them motherfuckers have been fucking sparking fires recently. I've seen articles on that shit. Breaking fires. It's insane. So their agenda is the 2030 agenda. Trying to make everything smart, energy efficient, because one little fucking Russian twat got up there and said, your air is killing me. It's killing me. It's killing our animals. It's killing my mom. It's killing my dad. It's already killed my grandpa. It's killed my ancestors from 100 years ago. How dare you? Climate change. Climate change. Everything reverts back to climate change, doesn't it? But when they talk about these smart cities, it's like, okay, everything is energy efficient, right? Change everything to electric, renewable, recycled, solar panels, pushing everybody into electric vehicles. That's the plan. What did I say at the beginning of the show? It's possible they burn up all this land because there's a lot of potential for that land out in Hawaii. There's a lot of potential. You got a lot of rich people living out there. That's a lot of money that they could take into donations to make it happen. Even Bezos. That motherfucker recently supposedly went up in space. Hell, Amazon's about to fucking fall under in the next 10 years. I mean, their shit's all they sell is fucking shit at times. That motherfucker, he made a big bank off of everybody, right? With Amazon. So why not buy up some land out there, you know, invest in it? That land out there in Maui right now is very valuable in price. So why not cause an incident? And then try to clean it up, you know, and then you got a lot of what they want to call us conspiracy theorists because we think we know the shit, but then you got people that are posting stuff online, posting the truth. And then you got a lot of these websites like TikTok and Facebook and Twitter and all of them fact-checking them, saying, this never happened. That never happened. That's not true. That's not what happened. Okay, so these videos of this woman taking videos of these direct beams coming down from the sky causing fires in the city. Causing these direct fires, right? Both of these theories tap into real anxieties largely related to the understandable fear of outside investments and developers preying on tragedy. Hawaii is a profoundly expensive state for real estate, and many locals are being price cut out of their homes. It's already been reported that developers are approaching residents about buying the burnt properties. So when Hawaii Governor Josh Green said in an interview that the state could buy land from Lahaina to protect it from outside developers, and people on social media spread an out of context clip implying the opposite, it fueled rage and panic. But I believe so. I do believe so that this, you know, there's a lot of crooked politicians out there, governors, all that shit. In every state, there's always some kind of crooked politician. If there's money invested in that land, they're gonna look into taking it. They're gonna look into taking it, and they're good at covering the tracks up. Look at the Biden administration. Look at them motherfuckers. In a rant on YouTube that went viral, the comedian and conspiracy theorist Russell Brand actually articulated well why those who subscribe to the space laser theory in regards to Maui might believe it. He bordered on condoning the misinformation, though he did not fully endorse the conspiracy theory. If major outside investors end up financially benefiting from the disaster, he argued, then the conspiracy theory is almost a redundant detail. Did they start it? Did they start it? Is it inevitable that the suffering of ordinary people leads to the benefit of rich elites and massive organizations, he asked. Doesn't it feel like a kind of a macro conspiracy that's so diffuse, institutional, oddly abstracted, and bureaucratically opaque that sometimes you want to simplify it into they started the fire from with a laser from space. Whether it's true or not, it feels true, and in terms of result, it is kind of true, he added. There is a conspiracy to keep you poor and benefit rich elites, and that's what's going on. What's happening to the middle class? Middle class is being deemed as poor right now. We're being deemed as fucking poor. There is no middle class anymore with the Biden administration. So that's what they're going to do right now with Maui. Everybody's poor. I'm pretty sure they have money. I'm pretty sure, but then again, anything can happen. So I think, I did put that in our Discord. So if you guys want to read more up on it, there is a lot more to it. It's in our Discord. So we got space lasers that the government said we already have. Government said that space lasers are real, but yet they were not directed. They're used against our enemies. They're used against our enemies, but why haven't they used them against the enemies? Oh, that's because the innocent people of Hawaii, they're the enemies, right? I'm gonna look up one more thing. Okay. I didn't even listen to this shit. I didn't even listen to this fucking shit. Alright, let's see, I gotta try to find, I'm not listening to the whole goddamn thing. Let me play this.
Community is helping the Maui community, and it's really affected me because where's the president? He decides to come here this week, to come here next week. I mean, like, where aren't we Americans too? Like, we're part of the United States, but why are we getting put in the back pocket? Why are we being ignored?
That was an emotional.
Yes, it was. That was an emotional video to watch. It was done in an interview on CNN. And the person that she's talking to has this fucking smug goddamn look on her face. This smug look on her face as this girl is pouring her heart out. Maui resident housing 23 family members displaced by the fire. And she's asking, where's the president at? Where's the president? Why hasn't he responded to any of this? Well, like, where the fuck is he? Where the hell is he? You know where Biden was during all this shit? He was vacationing on the beach. People wanted to talk about fucking Trump being somewhere. Trump was always there when something happened. When there was something grave that happened in this country, Trump was there. Either the same day or the very next day. Trump was there. Look at that train wreck up there in Ohio. Remember that months ago? Biden never went there. Biden went over to the Ukraine. He wanted to see what his son was doing over there with his cocaine and all his bullshit. But who went to that train wreck? Who went out there to visit those victims? Trump did. Trump is currently running for 2024 election. Yes, he's facing indictments of bullshit, made up fucking false facts, but he was out there. If your supposed president of the United States is not going to make an appearance to something like this, Trump made it. That should have been the true president right now. None of this shit would happen if Trump was in office. But this poor girl was asking, where was Biden at? He didn't give two fucking shits. But it was like 2 or 3 days, I think it was like a week later or something, Biden finally made his appearance in Maui. And it was not a welcoming appearance at all. It was not very welcoming indeed. People were pissed at him. People hated that piece of shit. His little convoy on the road, when he was driving by, I'm pretty sure he was waving out to the people. What were they doing? Fuck you, Joe Biden. Fuck you, you piece of shit. I would have been too. I would have been too. Viral guy, what's up? You finally made it to the show and stuff. But where was Biden at? Oh yeah, Biden's in the fucking motorcade. Everybody's like, fuck Biden, fuck Biden. Then he goes out and he makes a fucking 22-minute speech. But I'm going to play this. This is a message from Trump. It's 2 minutes long. I want to play this. After the fucking ad passes by. Let's play this, shall we?
To express my sympathy and warmest regards to the people of Hawaii, and specifically all of those who have been so gravely and irreparably hurt by the tragedy of the wildfires in Maui, something the likes of which have seldom been seen anywhere at any time. The death caused by this catastrophic event will be far worse than ever expected now that houses and cars in other areas are being inspected. The sad thing is, it should never have happened. Our government was not prepared, and very importantly, the aftermath is going very poorly, with the governor of the island wanting to do nothing but blame it on global warming and other things that just happened to pop into his head.
And what did I just say moments ago? The governor of Hawaii wanted to do what now? Blame global warming. Blame climate change. That's exactly what that piece of shit did.
When asked about it today, as he was getting into a car, perhaps coming home from the beach, where he has been spending a great deal of time, Crooked Joe Biden, the most incompetent president in the history of our country, with a laugh and a smile, said he had no comment on the death and the tragedy.
And that was true, too. Whether you want to believe Trump or not on his words, Biden was approached by somebody in the media. What are your thoughts on the Maui fires and the people, you know, those devastating fires, people who lost their lives, lost family members? I have no comment. This supposed president, or that you all call president, had no comment, no sympathy at the time of the thing going, at the time of the shit going on. No sympathy, no comment for the people who lost their family and friends. And then what, 2 weeks later or a week later or whatever, finally shows up because, oh, I guess I'm president, I better fucking show up, I better make it look good. It wasn't good at all.
To say no comment is oftentimes fine, but to be smiling when you say it, especially against such a tragedy as this, is absolutely horrible and unacceptable.
It is. For Biden to sit there and smile about what just happened, it's almost like he knew it was going to happen and he was involved. It's almost like Biden knew that Hawaii was going to burn and he's being smug about it. Just like I know people would rat on fucking Bush 20-some years ago about the Twin Towers. Where was Bush at? He was in a kindergarten class, I think it was, reading him a book. He received word that the towers were hit. No, he didn't jump up and run out, but he wanted to stay as calm as he could and continue on with the class. He didn't want to cause any kind of major, panic and all. He was calm. He finished reading the book to the class. He was out of the school, and they went right to work. Yeah, Bush is not the best president out there alongside Obama, and definitely not alongside Biden. But George Bush today, he wouldn't fucking stand there smiling about an incident like this. Nobody should. Lives were lost, and fucking Biden wants to laugh about it. Piece of fucking donkey shit.
Acceptable. It is a disgraceful thing that Joe Biden refuses to help or comment on the tragedy in Maui, just as he refused to help or comment on the train derailment in East Palestine, Ohio, for a very, very long time. In any event, hopefully everyone will be able to pull together so that a horrible situation does not get even worse. To the families affected, I give you my love and sympathy. Nothing can ever replace your loved ones, but you will always have the memories and will feel their great love surrounding and embracing you. Together, we will continue to carry their legacy forward, and I love you all very much. Thank you.
Those words spoken of a true president right there. He should be president. He should have won the election for that. And what did Joe Biden do? Big slap in the face when he showed up and did his 23-minute speech to the people of Maui. Then he tried to sit there and say that he knows what it's like to lose something in a fire. What was it, a kitchen fire, house fire? Something like that many, many years ago that he experienced. Fuck off, Joe. Your kitchen caught fire. Even if that did happen. It's a kitchen fire, whatever. I have a friend who lost his house several years ago. I feel for him. House is rebuilt and all, but he lost his fire up the road. That's got to be devastating. Not only to lose your property and all your belongings, but he lost a family member too. My friend did. One of his dogs perished in the fire. He had 2 loving dogs. One of them passed away in the fire. That's very devastating. But Joe comes out and he fucking mocks him. I know what it's like to lose something in a fire. We had a kitchen fire or dining, whatever the fuck the fire was that he had. Big slap in the face. Big slap in the fucking face. And you could tell when you watch that interview, you could tell the people are pissed. You could tell the people are pissed in that video. Just like, what was it? They were having some kind of dinner social or whatever, and he was caught falling asleep. You're all supposed president of the United States falling asleep at a major event. Sorry, Biden, that the people of Maui that lost their lives was not as important as your beach trip or your trip to Ukraine or you trying to sign away all of America's fucking Fort Knox to the Ukraine. Sorry, find lives being devastatingly lost in a fucking blaze that you caused by these direct massive attacks. It's not that important. But by the way, let's leave this in closing. When you guys look at that video about these direct laser beams and how they affect certain colors, go back to the map. Go back to the footage. Look at a lot of the properties on Maui that did not go up in flames. Look at Oprah Winfrey's house, painted all in blue. A lot of these houses painted a certain color. Why haven't anybody who's rich on that island, why haven't their houses perished? Why didn't their houses go up in flames? Look at the umbrellas. Check footage around every property that is in those videos. Everything that went up in flames, everything that's burnt to the ground except for blue umbrellas. Blue umbrellas are still standing. Trees are still standing. Wake up, people. This was not climate change. This was not a typical forest fire. This is a direct threat, a direct terrorist attack from our own government to take away the land from the natives of Hawaii. It's all coming to light. And I might just cover more of it sometime soon on another episode of Tune In Live. And that's the end of today's show, guys. Just over 2 hours. Thank you guys for coming tonight. Thank you guys for following, subscribing, liking, watching us live in this evening talk about the truth behind the Maui fires. If you guys have yet to do so, links to all of our social media platforms and other platforms that we're on are right down below in the description section and the About section in our Twitch About panel section. If you guys wish to donate to the channel, feel free to do so. Link to our Cash App is down below as well. If you guys are on Discord and you want to follow us on Discord for updates on anything at all, especially our future updates on when we go live again and upcoming content that we're going to be uploading here pretty soon, video content and all that. Be sure to follow us on Twitter for updates there as well, and Instagram also. Once again, guys, thank you for joining in tonight. this episode of Tune In Live. May your hearts, may your prayers go out to the people of Maui. May this whole thing be blown out of the water and be revealed to the public. Good night, everybody. Catch you on the flip.
What we do here is go back.
Loud.